Hello, hello, party, party, party time. I'm Alex Hunter. I'm an author from the land of milk and honey, of course. And recently I wrapped up editing on my latest novel. So part of my process about getting back into the swing of things to start the next one is to prep my mind, some brainstorming, some creation to get back into the act of making something from nothing. I think this is one of the most fun parts, so I thought I'd record some of my writing workouts, getting the mind back to production, and see if anybody would be interested in following along as I get myself back up to speed, because I haven't written fiction now in probably 5 months. So it's been editing, solely working on the book that I'm hoping to have come out by the end of the year. And this is a way that I get from this state to writing my thousands of words a day for the new novel. So basically what I start with is a list of 2 things. Here you can see I just came up with mechanical and natural. It seems like a good way to start. Kind of pulls some sci-fi themes. I was kind of feeling it that night. It says April 17th, but that was June 17th. I don't know what I was thinking then. I did this pretty late. So basically mechanical, I came with hydraulic, gears, motor, exhaust, fuel, flywheel, axle, radiator, piston, ignition. And then on the natural side, I came up with tree, seed, reproduction, flower, river, desert, mud, rain, fire, and bugs. So after I came up with these 2 lists, I started to make matches, see what sounds good together, see what kind of things just sort of rhyme. And so what this does is it takes these 2 separate items that seem separate, like they shouldn't really be together, and gives me a list of ideas that I can start writing off of. It could take anything. I feel like I have the ability to write from almost any prompt, but this kind of gives me a little bit better selection. Gets my brain working on, what sounds good, what kind of things have a story behind them. As I'm making connections between the 2 sides of this list, I'm understanding in my head almost immediately which ones do I already have a story for, which ones need work, what sounds good. All these things get taken into consideration before I start drafting. So you'll see I made my matches kind of like, a matching game if you were a kid and you played on the back of a menu. And so what this does is it gives me a sorted list of different things that I could write about. I missed 1 or 2 there, but I fixed it. So first one I crossed out radiator tree. I felt like that meant nothing. Flywheel, river. That's just sort of, I don't even know what that would be. Ignition, seed. So I start just crossing out the easy ones, and then as I get closer to what I want to write about, it starts to become obvious. I see which ones look cool, which ones sound like they might be able to be something, and I start making my marks. They kind of mean nothing, just to get myself to work on sorting and to remember what I want. This hydraulic reproduction just ended up coming up over and over and over in my head, like I just couldn't ignore it. So that's what I went with. If you see something on this list that sparks your interest, I'll put a link to my Substack where I'll post the draft of what I wrote on the next page after I did this sort of brainstorming exercise. And please, link your own story that uses whatever prompt sets you off. So for me, I went with hydraulic reproduction. It just kind of seemed a little edgy, but also, what is that? Hydraulics themselves just inherently kind of have that feeling, right? Of some sort of reproductive mechanical thing. So it kind of worked. I started off just, what comes to mind. First things, car, sex, liquid gas. I don't even know what that other word is I wrote. Mechanical love, forced procreation, mechanical love, broken flesh, nature finds a way, steel passion, empty trunk, lifeless seduction, sensualist intercourse, anti-covenant, just some different things that, when I thought of hydraulic reproduction, why wasn't it getting out of my mind? What other things were attached to it? So I started to build out this list, and as I do that, the story kind of comes to me. What is this about? How do these different things play together? Which things am I going to include or not include? But the more I think about it, the more a story comes to me. So this is just part of the process I use for making those little drafts. And you'll see on the next page, it's not a complete story. It's not really even like a vignette. It's just put the pen down, write, and whatever comes out, right? At this point, I'm not trying to submit any of this stuff. I'm not trying to turn this into a finished piece. It's literally just to get my mind the revolutions it needs. I'm looking for quantity here, really just getting words down on the page. So at the bottom, I came up with automation of finding sexual partners, AI selection of mates, like arranged marriages, automated dating app funnel that goes from meet to wedding, ROI, nuanced, subscription, partner, and reserves. And then I asked a question, can I tell a story about the loss of control in love? And my answer was yes. That seemed like it fit the hydraulic reproduction prompt that I came up with. And so I went on to the page behind to start writing. So here I thought a little bit about the title. Hydraulic reproduction sounds cool, but what's the story really about? Right, it's that forced love. It's like people who would just give up. And so what do? You try to find somebody who will do that sort of legwork of finding somebody for you. Here I got the date right, of course. Look at me go. The correct month, June 17, 2026. So almost a month ago from when I'm recording this. And basically I just, I don't know why I did that. Maybe I was testing the camera. Should have focused better. Future videos, you'll see I remember to click the page to focus it. So hang with me until then. I'll read this as I write it, but again, if you want to see the text, I'll put it up on my Substack. So here is Tell Me Who to Love. Axel brought me up to the suite after the ceremony, a regular-sized hotel room with a tub that laid in front of the bed. There was a cheap champagne. Well, here's what I want to do, kind of. So I have this one I wrote here. I did a little bit of editing, and I think it just sounds a lot better. So I'm going to read this one I edited. That'll be on my Substack. You can read along with the original text if that's what you so choose. It's pretty close. There's just a couple of small changes I made. As you can see, my spelling probably needs some work, but here's the edited version. Axel brought me up to the suite after the ceremony, which was a regular-sized hotel room with a tub that laid in front of the bed. There was a cheap bottle of non-champagne the greasy-haired manager had placed into the square mini-fridge, but it didn't fit, and I could see his fingerprint smudged on the green glass that stuck out. There were 2 plastic cups wrapped in cling film set on the dresser. It was the kind of place where nobody had cleaned out the 25-year-old jets in the tub, and that there was no way in hell that the mattress beneath the caloric patterned sheets weren't green and brown and black with molds. He whispered me away from our families and friends and cheered as if it was the first time we touched, as if it was what I wanted, instead of being in the low-ceiling ballroom of the hotel, to be dazed by people that I knew and did not know, being showered in compliments I never thought I'd get. But what I wanted was as soiled as the mattress in the honeymoon suite. I realized that by the T's and C's he no longer had to sheath himself, and that made me ice over. He had to keep wiping drool from his lips as he took off his suit jacket and started the tub's jets, spraying the bed with a cold mist. He grinned like a crocodile as he stepped out of his briefs. I knew he was being screwed by the T's and C's, and maybe worse than I was, trading any chance for freedom for indebted servitude to the employer. But when he stepped out of his briefs, there wasn't any paperwork on his mind. I'm an Aries, his profile had read, but I love water. I'm close to my family, but don't believe in any organized religion, the superiority of any man or a man-shaped god. I'm looking for an artisan who wants a family. How foolish I felt, remembering how my heart fluttered as I hit accept terms and conditions. So So, like I said, that was slightly edited from what I'm writing here. You can read this and see what my original thoughts were, how I originally put it down on paper. But as I was typing it up, I'm like, I just got to make a couple of changes here. Number one was some spelling. Second one was some things got a little more explicit than I felt was warranted. Like I said, you can read below as I write and kind of see where my mind was the night that I wrote this. I felt like that terms and conditions was just an interesting pull from just the life we live, where you hit accept on things and you're not sure exactly what they say. Even, a seasoned lawyer is probably not going to read the terms and conditions on every Apple update they get, right? And so people are accepting things all the time and have no idea what's inside of them. And that I felt like that fit with this sort of mechanical love, tell me who to love story. So as I finish up writing here in the video, I appreciate people checking this out. I've done a lot of these brainstorms. I'll probably do this for a couple of months, as often as I can, as time allows, of course, and we'll work our way up to starting the next novel. So basically I have a little bit of time left here on the writing, so I'll explain kind of my process. I'll do this kind of workshopping, workout, to get my mind back up to speed at creation, right? I don't want to jump right into writing thousands of words a day when I haven't done it in a couple months. And then soon I'll build up from 1 page to 2 to 3, and then I'll try and start writing some full short stories. Get a couple of those under the belt, and then we'll jump into writing the novel. So stick around if you want to see a lot of that. I figure I'll share everything I can if people are interested. And like I said, my Substack, I'll put some text here. I gotta figure out what the name of that thing is. And then you can go on there, read this in print or in text on the screen, however you like. And like I said, if you use one of my prompts and write something cool, please link it so we can see what you've done. I think that'll be awesome. So here we go, wrapping it up. Put the pen down, and that was it for today. So thank you again, everybody, for following along, for checking out this video, and I'll see you on the next one.